Right. So if you're constantly worried about, uh, see if we did this. If you're constantly worried about how exactly, okay, awesome. This is round about the level that I'm going to be, oh, okay. Beautiful. So if you're constantly thinking that you're running into creative fatigue and meta that just doesn't work because you constantly have to create new creatives, it's been broken since Andromeda came out, then I have good news for you. I'm going to talk you through why exactly you are failing and why it feels like you're constantly running on a hamster wheel that just, it's a never ending battle. And it comes down to it's not you, it's meta. But it's a little bit simpler than that. It's not that's not the whole story. Like, yes, Meta's algorithm has changed in the last couple of years. They've launched a couple of iterations, and the last one since Andromeda. Like most clients that I speak to, it's because they're still running the playbook from like 3 years ago. That like no one's doing anything wrong. Like the agencies that you're working with, the professionals, the media buyers, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just that they haven't adapted to what the platform needs at this point. So if they're still telling you that you launch 10 different angles or you launch 5 different angles, you see which one works and then you scale up on that one, it's not necessarily bad advice, but it's not the most current and the best way to kind of work with your ad account. Because what Meta wants more than anything else is happy customers. So let's start there. They want happy customers on their platform for longer, but that's their thing. Their thing is happy customers. So they're able to track happy customers further down the journey. So when Meta launched, it was just views and impressions and clicks. Then they got the pixel. They launched it onto your site, and now Meta could see when people click through, do they actually get to where they want to? And obviously, with information from there, they could see whether the landing page is exactly like is congruent with what the user experience is on the platform. So, are you promising puppies but then trying to sell cars, something like that, which makes that the user experience. There's a which makes that there's a discrepancy in the user experience. So a horrible user experience equals less happy people, which means that not great for Meta because they want happy people. And that's kind of what we need to be optimizing for. Now, with the age of AI and everything that goes with it, they can now track further down the line. If you have Cappy, if you have funnel events, if you have customer events, all of that is feeding information back into Meta. So Meta can see who of your customers like you. When they buy something from you, do they keep buying from you? Like, what does that profile look like to go and find you more people like that? So the algorithm is getting smarter as time goes on, and we're treating it the same as a 5-year-old. It's the same if you how you treat a kid that doesn't know of any better. Imagine that is now an adult and you're treating it exactly the same. And that's what most media buyers are doing because they keep on running the same play. Let's find something, make an offer that works because it's performance marketing, right? So make an offer that works, run ads to it. Once that depletes itself, or they talk about creative fatigue, which it's not really, it's audience fatigue, and I'm going to show you how that works, and how to think about it. But that's essentially what's happening. Once that fatigues, you need to come up with a new offer, with a new offer, with a new offer. And that's kind of the hamster wheel. You're constantly having to update stuff. And yes, on one side, if you run it this way, it'll run fine. Like, you will be running around and you'll be doing your thing and you'll have horrible or wonderful ups, horrible lows. And that's just how these people will tell you, oh, well, that's just meta ads. You win sometimes, you lose sometimes, but that's the art of the hustle. For me, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that for my clients. So what I decide to do, and what I want to do, is I want to build a stable account. I want to build an account that is a business asset, that it's not just something for me to prove to an owner why they need to hire me next month. It's to prove to an owner that his business is working and that we can work together over the next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months to build their business, as opposed to running down each hack or each black hat tactic, asking questions like which ad format is working the best now and which trend of like whatever. I want to win at meta ads, and it is possible. And if your if your media buyer or your agency is telling you that it's not necessarily that they're bad. And that's the horrible thing about this. It's not necessarily that they want to pull the wool over your eyes. It's just that they don't know of any better, because no one ever taught them of any better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what that blueprint looks like and how you can think about it. And I'm going to ask you, bear with me, because I'm going to use soccer um, as an analogy or for this metaphor. Now, typically, I wouldn't use soccer because I'm not a huge fan. I know a little bit about it. But I know that US just hosted the FIFA World Cup. So I'm hoping that most of you at least have like Tom Cruise was there and everything. So I'm hoping that most of you have like an idea of what the sport or how the sport works. So what I'm going to do is, if you imagine this is a football pitch, like, don't judge me too harshly. Like I say, I don't really know what is that. Maybe there's another circle there. I don't know. I'm going to do that just for in case. So if you think about this as a football pitch, now what everyone does is they tell you that you need to go and create a player. Now let's say it's Messi. I am Lionel Messi. Because most people, I assume that most people kind of have an idea of who he is. He is on Lay's chips and whatever. He's a striker. So now you get one ad that works, and you tell it that this is your ad, and you run with that. But now the problem is, or the good thing, let's start with a good thing. All the balls that actually come to him, let's erase that and let's make this a nice red. All the balls that are in his vicinity, like, he can get all of that to the goal, right? Not a problem. He can run over there. He can kick it in from there. He can run over there, kick it in from there. Beautiful. So then he exhausts all this space where you can see he can run. But now, what if a ball is over here? Like, he needs to run there. If a ball's over here, he needs to run over there. And his efficiency from taking it from there all the way into the goal is maybe not as great. So he finishes everything that he can in this kind of section. And then after that, he's pretty useless. And then they say, oh, it's now turned into a bad ad. You have creative fatigue. And that's why you should launch new ads. And they're usually very helpful with all the new ways of selling you effort. And the problem is, now you replace this guy with a brand new striker on this end, and he does exactly the same. And you run through the whole process again. You create another guy that's over there, and he does exactly the same, because this guy is now tired. He's a bad ad. So now this guy needs to do all the heavy lifting. And whenever they get tired, you get told, oh no, it's a bad ad. No one's responding to it anymore because of the frequency going up. Like no one's responding to it anymore. It's a bad ad. Turn it off. Launch new creators. Launch new stuff. Like if you look at it like this, like it makes sense why so many companies are struggling. Instead of looking at it like that, you should view your account as a team sport. It's not a single thing that does all the selling. It's think about a sales team. You don't have one absolute rock star that absolutely crushes it and he works by himself. Like if he doesn't have supporting staff, if he doesn't have leads coming in, if he doesn't have people warming them up and then sending it to the closer, like he'll fail. And it's not because he doesn't do his job. It's because no one else around him has a job that feeds him. So what you want to be doing is think of this, and I'm going to split it up into, let's make black. We're going to split it up into 3 sections. So similar to soccer, where you have strikers, you have midfielders, and then you have defenders. Right? I don't think that's how they would break it up. But let's say that's how they broke it up for this specific thing. So what you want to do is think about this as on this side, we call it the top of funnel. So this is more your awareness kind of ads. And I'm not talking about the awareness where you make a joke or something. It needs to be something that's related to your service, where the right ICP, your ideal client profile, where they would kind of sit up and go, oh yeah, I wanted to hear this. That's what the content for your top of funnel needs to be. It's awareness, it's education, it's building authority. It's so that people can learn something from you, something that they would share with someone else. Like it's not gonna, like, we're going to get to how to judge that, but you want that kind of content. Then next up, you want middle of funnel. So you want people that's in that consideration phase. They know who you are, but they don't know if you're better than someone else. So then the us versus them thing, more education about how your service is better than someone else's. What people need to do to not fall victim to how other people do it. Like all of that kind of stuff. Because each one of these will then be able to find all the little balls, all the people that are here, and they'll be able to send it forward for your strikers, because your strikers would be the complete bottom of funnel. Now, I don't like the terminology top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, because it's not really linear anymore. It's just a mess. Like it used to be that if we, it used to be like you would have the funnel that kind of looks like that. And that's how they started explaining it with TOF, MOF, and then BUF. But we know that with the modern internet, like that's not the user journey. The user journey is most probably something that looks a little similar to that, and then they buy from you. And you had other customers here, you have other customers there, or your competitors, and maybe even a huge competitor that owes that section, another one that owes that section. Like it's a mess. But the one person that knows is Meta. Because they have the person, they can see which platforms they go to, which websites they go to, who they engage with, what content they look at across different platforms. So yeah, sorry, we didn't want to take a detour, but we did. Hope you're happy we did. So this is essentially what you want to do. You want to build a team like this so that you have your strikers that will give you the best CPL or the best CPA, the best cost for acquiring a customer. Those are the guys that's excellent at scoring goals. Beautiful. That's exactly what you want them to do. You want the balls to get to this section so that they can score. Well, most probably even in this section, if you follow, I don't know. But yeah, that's essentially what you want. And then you also want your supporting players to be there to be able to pass the ball forward, because then this poor guy doesn't need to run all the way here to catch a ball and then score a goal. And it gives you stability. So then the only thing that you need to do is look at your team and decide which is the worst performer and increase their performance. Like launch a test to improve that one player and have a look at your ad account as a whole and see whether you're winning or whether you're not. And that should be the only guiding light. It shouldn't be which ad did we launch that's getting the best ROAS. Because the rest ROAS, and I know how this is going to sound, it's going to sound contradictory at best, but the best ad or the best ROAS, the ad that gives you the best ROAS isn't necessarily the best ad for the business. If that ROAS is turning into a one-time purchase or a bad kind of client that's not your most valuable client, like it's not, it's a good metric, bar any if you don't have anything else. I know, yeah. But it's not, it shouldn't be your guiding light. Your guiding light should be, can I spend more? So if I put $100 in, then I get 120 out this month. So would I be willing to invest more? Can I spend more? Is the company making more money from what I'm doing in Meta ads? If not, that becomes the problem that you need to solve. If it is, you need to make sure that you have a team that gives you that stability so that you don't have the ups and the downs. And also you get to the point where you can launch one new test every 2 to 4 weeks because you know all of your players are playing the way that they should be. Just something to think about. Where Meta is at the moment, the AI becomes smarter as it gathers more data. If you're using an LLM, the longer you use it, the more information you're given. If it's a decent one, like a decent site, the more context you give it, the better your output is. And this AI is exactly the same. The longer it runs, the better it knows who responds to it. So your ad should technically be getting better over time. It shouldn't fatigue unless your audience fatigues, unless you have segmented ad sets where you have a lookalike and you have this kind of interest and that interest, because that just fractures the learning. Like it was fine when Facebook was 5, but it's now grown up. Like it knows enough that you can trust it and you can like trust but verify. But it's you can give it information and then guide it. So if an ad is overspending, you want to send it a negative signal. So you turn it off to say how much you're spending at the moment for acquiring a customer with this. Like don't spend that much, turn it off. And then it doesn't mean it all of a sudden turned into a bad ad. It just means that what it's doing isn't right. You leave it so that it resets and then you turn it back on again so that it can start finding, because it didn't all of a sudden turn into a bad ad. Like if you think about one of the longest running ads on television, the Cremora, that's not inside, it's on top. Like people didn't stop buying Cremora because they saw the ad 4,000 times over the span of 10 years. The longer they see it, the more credibility and the more authority it gives you, because people will recognize, oh, it's that person. But now they're confusing authority and credibility from longevity with conversion ads not doing what it's supposed to and running out of audience. As you can see, it's not the same thing. And that's kind of what the Meta was trying to solve with Andromeda. They talk about creative diversity. And for performance marketers that have spent their whole life running this hamster wheel and constantly creating more strikers, that just sounds like we have to create more strikers. But if you think about what Meta is trying to do, Meta is trying to get more small business to spend more money with them. They're not going to be able to do that by making the system more complex and more effort heavy. They're only going to be able to do that if they make the system as easy as possible to manage and make the AI the smartest thing so that it can get the maximum results from minimum input. So what they mean with creative diversity is not we need to launch a new conversion ad every second day or every week. What they mean with that is you need to have a testimonial ad. You need to have proof of concept. You need to have educational content. You need to have us versus them. You need to have an offer ad. And then you need to have it in statics, in carousels, in videos. That gives you a whole team that Andromeda can then deliver to the right person at the right time, instead of building out 15 different videos that have 3 second different that have 3 different seconds in the beginning. That worked 3 years ago. Now it takes all of that and lumps it into one creative ID and counts it as one creative, because it's not going to get to another audience in another step in another stage of the funnel, the conversion journey. So that's kind of, if you take nothing from this today, just take this one thing, that creative diversity means an abundance of creative. It doesn't mean a lot of effort producing new creatives over time. It doesn't mean that at all. You shouldn't be going for effort. You should be going for stability and building out a whole team. Hope this was helpful. If it was, drop me a comment. If you need anything else like this, if you like this video, like, let me know and I can make more of these. Cheers.